Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Park Wentling. I represent part of Mercer County, formerly represented parts of 4 counties, Erie, Crawford, Mercer, and Lawrence. I represent the 7th Legislative District. Very honored to be opening up this session of the Northwest of the PA 250. So we are in the Northwest. It's considered to be Region 1, and please correct me if I'm wrong. And that actually includes Erie, Crawford, Mercer, Lawrence, Venango, Warren, Forest, Clarion, Jefferson, Elk, McKean, Clearfield, and Cameron. And I hope I got all those right. And it's real special for me to be able to be here with you today. I actually got my master's degree here at Clarion. So did my wife at Clarion. And I just wanted to give a little shout out to Clarion for that. We have obviously other members of the General Assembly here. Cassandra, I'm going to kick it over to you to decide how you want to go through that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative, and thank you for calling this meeting to order. I'm Cassandra Coleman. I'm the Executive Director of America250PA, and we are the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's commission that was charged with planning and coordinating all of the programming projects and events around the 250th anniversary of the United States in 2026. A very exciting milestone anniversary coming up. We have over a dozen programs and projects across the Commonwealth that will be implemented in all 67 counties with the goal of reaching every Pennsylvanian in every county. Today, we are here as part of the America250PA Infrastructure Improvements and Projects Committee. This committee is made up of 24 bipartisan, bicameral members of the legislature, and the Commonwealth is divided into 6 regions. Each region has 2 hearings where we are asking Pennsylvanians to come forward and actually propose legacy projects that the legislature can consider of support, whether they are either started and or completed by 2026. So that is the reason we're here today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the other panelists up here today to introduce themselves, and then we will get into the rules and process of the hearing, and then we'll get started with testimony. So I'm going to ask Representative Mercer to please introduce himself.
Thank you, Cassandra. State Representative Bob Mercer from the 2nd Legislative District in Erie County, part of Region 1. I'm excited to be here and be a part of the America250PA project. As a former social studies teacher, I always tell people my real job is a teacher. And I did that for 19 years before I was elected to the Pennsylvania House. And as a former history teacher, these projects in particular, America250, PA, these projects are the type of thing that I think not only stimulate the economy, but also get us back to our roots and connect us to the past. And I think connecting us to the past as a bridge to the future is an exciting thing, and I'm excited to be a part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. And Representative Oberlander?
Thank you, and thanks everyone for the opportunity to be here in Clarion. Northwest is region number 1. Okay, no question about it. And thank you, Representative Mercer and Representative Wentling, for being here. I am Donna Oberlander, and this is part of my district, the 63rd, which includes all of Clarion County and part of Armstrong County. And I think about this milestone of 250 years, and I know it's going to be hard for people to believe, but I was actually here for the bicentennial. Okay, you can applaud, you can laugh, but I can tell you from that experience that we need to make it memorable. I still remember activities that were occurring then and things that were happening at that time, and I think that that's what we need to do, because it is a legacy building and it is an opportunity to reconnect. And I thought it was just such a blast, and every little community did something extra special. So thank you, and thank you for allowing me to be part of your day.
Sure, thank you so much. So today, the process of the hearing, so every testifier will be introduced. They will have 5 minutes to speak and to testify. At 30 seconds remaining, you're going to hear one kind of clang. And then at the end of your 5 minutes, you'll hear 2. And we just ask that at that point you finish your thought. So you'll have 5 minutes for the testifying, and then you'll have up to 3 minutes of question and answers with the panel if there's any questions. So with that, we can get started. So we'd like to introduce Daniel Johnston and James Martin from the Foxburg Gulf Preservation 1887 project. So when you're ready.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm Daniel Johnston. I'm the treasurer of the Foxburg Golf Preservation, Inc., also known as the 1887 Project. This encompasses what we feel is directly related to this legacy infrastructure that you're trying to accomplish for this great event. We also feel it touches on history preservation and will also affect tourism. Foxburg, a little town on the Allegheny River, has a 9-hole golf course that has long been open to the public. It started back in 1887. This is the oldest golf course in continuous use in the United States. That was determined probably 50 or 60 years ago with a Senate commission on that as well. We've also been recognized as an historical landmark as well, a national historical landmark. There are members to the club that often help and volunteer their services to help maintain this course. It has a very low budget. The membership has declined over the years as the economy has disappeared in the area. So in 2020, a group of us that are passionate about the course got together and said, let's see if we can create a 501c3 charity, which we were successful in doing. I provided information in the packet that shows our letter of determination from the IRS. As well, we're registered with the state of Pennsylvania. This golf course is one of the few Victorian places left in the country and has remained pretty much unchanged in some of its structure. We do know over the years some of the greens have actually gotten smaller, which is hard to imagine because these are some of the smallest greens you'll ever see on a golf course. So we've hired an architect, Ron Force Designs, out of Smyrna, Florida. He's kind of very well known in the golf architectural community. So he's been working with us and helping us develop a plan to revitalize the course, bring it back to some of its original luster, to help us decide what equipment is actually needed to maintain the course. We've also hired a consultant to help with the actual day-to-day maintenance and the training of that for the staff. Currently, there is no golf superintendent. They cannot afford one. So this is another reason our group was created, was to make sure we can help do that. So not only do we want to revitalize the course and restore some of the natural beauty of it, but we also want to maintain and preserve this in perpetuity. So we want to make sure that this always remains the National Historical Landmark. And as this spreads across the country, it should also help bring people to recognize that this is in Pennsylvania. We have board members from different states, so we reach as far as Texas and others outside the Clarion area. I actually live in Clearfield County. I grew up back in this area. I went to high school across the street from the golf course, and that's where I learned to play the game. And so I'm passionate about it just a lot for those reasons, because it was just such a unique experience growing up. And as I've gotten out in the world and gotten to play golf a lot of different places, it's still one of the most unique places that I think I've ever played golf. It's not a long course, but it's still a lot of fun. And the American Golf Hall of Fame is also located on the property that has some hickory sticks and balls and historical memorabilia going back to the 1800s. When Joseph Mickle Fox first learned of the game of golf, he had gone back to Scotland and actually met old Tom Morris. And when he saw what was going on, and he actually had him make him some clubs to bring back. And that's when the process started, and they started clearing the ground on the large grant that the Fox family had. The restoration, we hope, and we can get started as soon as we get the money available. We're looking at over $1.5 million to do this project. It may be closer to $2 million. As with anything, it's probably going to get even higher than that as the costs continue to go up. So our plan is to get this done starting in 2024 and hopefully be done by the end of 2025. So we'll meet your requirement to get done in 2026. I would like to point out that all of our board members are complete volunteers. Nobody receives any pay for anything that any of us do. We're all committed to do this just because of our passion for the game and our passion for this golf course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm a little bit more than eye candy, but that's okay. Oh, there was a chuckle there. That's good. There is a great deal of passion, and that passion has come because people love golf. They know where the better play is to be had. And the 137-year history of the course is phenomenal with some of the PGA pros that have been there, Payne Stewart and Arnold Palmer and others who have been there. And there is a American Golf Hall of Fame that has had in the past some superb banquets where a good 150, 200 people were there, and the pros were also in attendance. And we'd like to have that also, which is part being housed there, to be rejuvenated. I learned of the golf course because I play golf, and to be on those hallowed grounds, as I had a chance to play in Scotland and played in a Jackson Christie Open. Mr. Christie was also at the Foxburg Club with Tom Morris. So we think it'll be a phenomenal kick to the tourism. We think that when it's up and running 100%, you might even have another 80-room hotel that's built. It's a beautiful landscape. A lot of hunting and fishing go on as well.
Thank you. Panelists, any questions for the testifiers? Representative Mirsky?
Thank you. I was just thank you for your testimony today and your presentation of your project. I do have a question in terms of funding. Are you looking for the full amount, or do you have any money as a match or a contribution, or are you looking for the state to contribute everything?
We're looking for the full amount that we've requested. We're hoping by the end of our complete project, which we're trying to get done in 5 years with an endowment that we'll raise as well. We've currently raised $714,000 in just over a year. Part of that is from a grant from the DCED that we received. But you know, we are still out knocking on doors. We've got a couple of fundraiser experts that help us at no cost. And so they're telling us the best way to go about, you know, who do we contact first. You know, eventually, this will get rolled out to the entire golf community across the country, which at that point, I hope, you know, even if we get a $5 donation from 500,000 people.
Well, that was my next question. Has there been any support from anybody, PGA or that type of thing, any of the pros, you know, in terms of contributions or in terms of adding their name to the cause, if you will?
Not as of yet, but as my colleague Dan pointed out, all volunteers, we can get to so much at a certain time, but the short answer is yes, that will occur. It is clearly appealing to most of the PGA pros, certainly the Pennsylvania pros that are here, and also other golf courses have shown an interest in promoting this legacy, and the legacy is for tomorrow. You know, we do talk about the history, but it's really for tomorrow. And not only would there be PGA pros and who knows where golf is going on the international level. Dan also pointed out that we have a number of board members and members who are in different parts of the country. We have individuals in those communities that are also speaking on our behalf. So there is a great deal of that groundswell that will occur. As they learn about the project, they realize they want to be part of a winner. And to have all of the board members be contributors to the campaign at any level is super. One of our board members has a challenge grant out for everybody who gives $1,000. He'll match it up to $100,000, and we're well on our way to doing that. So yes, there is more planned, And we are excited as people learn about it. They tell us they're excited.
We're also trying to get in touch with some of the PGA. I've also tried to get some contacts to possibly talk to some of the networks, specifically CBS. I have some contacts to hopefully meet the owner of Dick's Sporting Goods and see if they might be interested in assisting. And a lot of this started from a phone call to the USGA to see if there's any help they could give, and they're the ones that said, you need to start a 501c3 before we can even begin to talk to you about it. So as soon as they are, we're hoping to get even more in front of them when the U.S. Open comes to Oakmont in 2025.
Thank you. And
Thank
Jim,
you.
Jim, it's good to see you. We're personal.
Sure. Excuse me, 1 second, Representative Oberlander.
Thank you. It just struck me that, would you mind talking a little bit about the unique opportunity with the Hickory Stick events that occur there? That really is something very unique, and I think this panel really would love to hear about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have a former member that every year holds a Hickory Stick tournament. It's usually in August. And through his contacts last year, we actually hosted the National Hickory Stick Championship. And if you've ever seen anybody hit a ball with a hickory stick, you would think, oh, it doesn't go very far. There was a young man playing, he was about 25, 26, and I said, so how far do you hit a regular club? He says, I don't play regular clubs. I only play hickory sticks. And he could hit the ball further than I can. Doesn't say much about my game, but it was just so unique, and they have to dress in whatever era they're representing. You have to carry your clubs in your hand, not in a bag. You have to play a replica ball of that era, and you have to walk. And a lot of these players were in their 70s and 80s. And if you decide you need a cart, you can finish playing, but you're disqualified.
What additionally is extremely exciting about this is that these players are coming around the country. They're not just coming, though we'd love them to live in Foxburg, but they're coming around the country and even internationally. There are tournaments throughout most every state, and those individuals and their families, certainly their spouse, sometimes their entire family, come to our community and spend their dollars. So we know it's high on their list, and they are looking forward to this being retooled, rejuvenated, and to come back and have more of their national tournaments. And quite frankly, we know that folks from Scotland just adore this community and are eager to have this course restored and to enjoy that moment. Word of mouth is strong in this industry. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So our next testifier is going to be Angie Urban from the Citywide Development Corporation of Newcastle. Absolutely. You can get started whenever you're ready.
Working now. There we go. Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Angie Urban, and I am the director of the Citywide Development Corporation in Newcastle, Lawrence County. And on behalf of our elected officials, our mayor, our council, our CDC board, and our many community partners who are trying to foster revitalization in Newcastle, thank you for the opportunity to share our vision with you for downtown and to explore a partnership with you to create a legacy in our hometown. The city of Newcastle is poised for a renaissance. We have invested the time and the energy over the last couple of years to put into strategic plans and are in the process of launching the implementation. So we're starting in the heart of our city. We are focused on a set of projects on our main street within a 1 to 2 block radius, clustered for maximum impact and clustered so that there is a synergistic relationship between them. This is inclusive of a set of projects that has a facade program, has the transformation of a vacant lot into a public gathering space. It has the demo of a particularly dilapidated building that's going to become a green space, an alley activation that will connect our parking garage to our main street, and the two catalytic projects that we're here to talk with you about today would include the rehab of our former Rite Aid G.C. Murphy building and helping create the infrastructure of our organization to help build the infrastructure there and build the capacity for the activation of all those spaces that I just talked about, which combined, we're hoping will truly result in the reemergence of a vibrancy in our downtown and produce a lasting legacy. So let me start with the building renovation. The building is for an anchor building right in the center of our downtown, our main street, which has sat deteriorating and vacant for at least, we were trying to determine, maybe 2 decades or more. It's an estimated $4 million rehab in total to get it back in its full glory. It's 2.5 stories with 12,000 square feet on each floor. And this is no investment that a private entity is willing to take a risk on right now. So that's where we come in. As a nonprofit organization, we have the ability to work with city and county and to take advantage of once-in-a-lifetime opportunities like the PA 250 in order to make the investment, save the building from the trajectory of demo that it's on, and welcome an entrepreneurial network. So our vision for this building is to create a public market on the first floor, have garage doors, and I shared a visual with you of what it currently looks like, and then what our renderings are for what we hope it will turn into. A public market on the first floor that would house 15 to 20 entrepreneurs in booth spaces who are testing their product, who are growing their business, and ultimately trying to build a legacy for their own families and fulfilling the American dream, right? Building their own business. In terms of building capacity infrastructure, we would love to partner with PA 250 to help activate all the spaces listed in our set of capital projects. So we can build it, but that doesn't mean they're going to come, right? We're seeking to invest in the people of our community, in the legwork that needs to be done in order to truly activate our downtown. This would include our ability to hire a Main Street manager, somebody who is coordinating business recruitment and retention, who is coordinating the buy local experiences, who's creating the events that drive foot traffic to our downtown. It includes a communication plan that is going to help rebrand the city and to promote the positive things that are happening. You know, when a visitor has a reason to come to our downtown and then has a high quality experience, it changes their perception, it changes their pride in our community, and ultimately increases our economic activity, which is a legacy beyond what any of us will live. So yes, Newcastle has had its fair share of challenges and struggles following the loss of industry, the loss of population, and quite honestly, the loss of hope over several decades. But like many other small cities across the Rust Belt of our country, we're striving to reimagine and revitalize for a new future. 3 years of infrastructure support to physically build and to also grow our capacity offers the opportunity for us to establish the fabric of what will truly revitalize our hometown and create a legacy that sparks a new hope and new investments. And we're seeking your help at this pivotal moment to launch the city of Newcastle into its renaissance. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions from the panel?
I just want to thank you for your testimony as a former, while I was a teacher, I was also a city councilman in Erie. It's part-time, so, and these are the types of things throughout Northwest Pennsylvania and through Western Pennsylvania. A lot of our towns have these vacant buildings downtown, and this type of redevelopment is just the kind of thing that I personally feel can be a shot in the arm. And when you talk about hometown, it's also that hometown pride. When you see a building like this that has been for 20 years an eyesore in your downtown, kind of the black eye, and you see it turn around. And we had in Erie a modern tool square is what it was called. And originally they redeveloped it to be this like mall downtown. And it ended up converting over the course of 15, 20 years into restaurants and apartments. And somebody made the point, well, oh, it was a failure, it was supposed to be this, and it didn't turn out. But it reused and reimagined in a way that maybe the original redevelopers didn't think, but that it put it back into productive use. And I think anytime we invest like this in downtowns, and I love the fact that you guys have matching money through the ARPA funds and a RACP. These are the types of things that I think can be a shot in the arm to the community, and just the type of thing that encourages other people to reinvest in that area. And so I want to thank you for your endeavor here. I think it's a worthwhile cause.
Thank you, thank you. And we're looking at Erie as a sample of how you're doing things.
Anybody else? Representative?
Yeah, I can give a small sample of something that happened in Lawrence years ago that I think would be a little bit similar on a much smaller scale. My mother's first cousin was actually the individual that bought the Valant mill
Okay.
and refurbed the mill.
Yeah.
And from that, then you saw, Valant really kind of grow from that. Now, I was pretty young at the time, but that's kind of how I remember it. That with that mill being refurbed, and then what came from that was pretty amazing. So, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Representative Oberlander?
Thank you for your testimony. You mentioned it's a 2.5-story building, and I heard you talk about the first floor with the 15 to 20 entrepreneurs and booth space. What are you doing with the other 1.5 stories?
With a partnership with PA 250, we'd really be looking to stabilize the whole building, a new roof, asbestos removal, get everything cleaned out. And then the first floor is our first phase. The upper floors, we have visions for locating a higher education institution down there, some sort of anchor activity where it would feed the market as well, perhaps an entrepreneurial incubator of some sort. Our Chamber of Commerce is in the process of doing a feasibility study for an incubator and where that would best be fit and what type of incubator it would be. So I think that there's a world of possibilities on the upper floors. The building actually was built to add another story on top, and so the rooftop has potential for rooftop gardens, rooftop restaurants, anything we could dream. It just costs money, right?
Right, sure.
Yes,
I
yes.
appreciate that, and just wondered what the next phase and what that next vision is. And so much of what we're hearing as legislators is a shortage in the housing, different types of housing. And then when Representative Mursky brought up his terrific project in the downtown area of Erie and that mixed use.
Yes.
So I appreciate your sharing. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next testifier is Deborah Huffman from the Red Bank Valley Historical Society.
Good afternoon. Again, my name is Deb Huffman, and I am the current president of the Red Bank Valley Historical Society, and I would like to thank you all for this opportunity to present to you our building preservation project. We believe this project is a perfect fit leading up to America's 250th anniversary. A little bit about the Red Bank Valley Historical Society. We were established as a 501c3 in 2021, but we have been in existence for over 10 years under the Red Bank Renaissance. The Society is a volunteer-run organization comprising of 9 board members. We have an active membership program where individuals can come and learn about the history of the Valley. In 2021, the Northwest Bank decided to shut their doors and their location in downtown New Bethlehem, and they gifted the bank to the Historical Society. The building is now a place where we can house our many displays, and we provide educational programs and special events there. A little bit about the old First National Bank building. With its soaring 107-foot clock tower bell, the First National Bank building, now the Red Bank Valley History Center, has become an iconic landmark in our downtown. The building was constructed by Charles E. Andrews in 1929. Charles E. Andrews was a prominent local businessman who built a lot of New Bethlehem. The building was designed to resemble another iconic structure in Pennsylvania, Independence Hall. Its design is reminiscent of a red brick Georgian colonial era town hall meeting. White Vermont marble was used in the trim and around the exterior doors, windows, upper and lower stripes. The main entrance doors, surrounded by the white Vermont marble, was still capped by a classic urn. The arched windows are replicas of those found also in Independence Hall. Over 100 tons of steel was used to support the structure of this building, including the metal frame and stairs of the iconic clock tower. The 2,000-pound bell was placed atop the clock tower on Armistice Day in 1929. Building our community. While we've received this building, obviously there's a lot of work to what needs to be done in the preservation of downtown. And one of the ways we want to use this building is in coalition with the Red Bank Valley Trails Association, which was created from our old railroad that ran through New Bethlehem. New Bethlehem's Main Street has diminished with business over the years and doesn't provide a lot of things to do on our Main Street. And so when we have tourists in, there isn't much to do. What we can do by preserving this building, providing history, exhibits, special events, and programming is to give our tourists something to do. With the History Center being right on Main Street, our goal is to help flourish some of our activity on the empty sidewalks. By being a center point in town as a place to visit when using the trails, some of our local restaurants and other small businesses, I believe, will benefit from this as well. New Bethlehem has been economically stressed ever since the decline and closing of our coal mines. We understand that some people can't afford to pay membership to be part of our group. This is why we feel it's important that everything that we do in that building is open and free to the community. All we ask are for donations to keep this building and our programs going. To continue the rich history of the area, we also believe it is important to educate our youth. We work with our local schools and provide hands-on educational projects where they can learn about the area they live in. Our ultimate goal is to instill this in our students so they can be part of preserving our history in New Bethlehem. Preserving the building, the clock tower. We as a society know that the building is a big undertaking to maintain. We took the building to avoid another structure in town from being turned into apartments or being neglected. We as a society believe it was our duty to preserve this building and keep the Andrews legacy alive. One of the projects society has been focusing on is to preserve the iconic clock tower and bell tower. For the past 2 years, we have been part of the Neighborhood Assistance Program where businesses contribute donations for a tax credit from the state. Currently, we have been able to fix some major construction on the cupola of the clock tower. We've done brick and mortar, we've done reporting of bricks, but the big thing to us was getting that clock running. It hasn't run in decades. Last year, we were able to electrify the clock, the bells are ringing, the clock is moving. And the stories you hear, when I was a kid, I knew I had to be home at 5 o'clock because I looked at that bell tower. So that was the biggest accomplishment we used with the SNAP money. But the work isn't done. We need more to finish. We have above the cupola was a structure that protected everything inside. So we were having a lot of water damage, which is your number one enemy in any type of building or structure. So we got that fixed, but we still need the bell structure tower where the bell hangs. We need woodwork done on that. We also need some reporting of bricks on the main building, as well as some interior structures, we need some electrical things done. We need like lead paint, we need that removed, and the interior of the building. So with that, the society is asking the committee to consider funding our project to finish the clock tower restoration. We're needing about $356,000 to finish this. While the NAT program has been wonderful the last 2 years to get first phase done, understand that NAP is through donations of businesses. You know, with a small town, sometimes small businesses can't upfront $10,000, you know, to give a donation. That's why we've been supported by banks and things like that for the project. But you can only go to those wells so many times because the banks have other projects within the state. So we would like to ask for your support to keep history alive in our town of New Bethlehem. We believe this project is a really good fit for the 250th anniversary of the United States, just because this building is a replica of Independence Hall. I mean, it's an iconic structure in our downtown. So with that, I thank you for your time, and I can take any questions.
Thank you. Questions from the panel? Representative Wentling?
I'll make a couple comments, maybe a couple questions. So First National Bank was started in my hometown of Greenville, so thought I'd give a shout out to FNB in Greenville. And also, I'm the former president of the Erie to Pittsburgh Trail, so I like the fact that you mentioned the EPT as part of this project. And also, really glad to hear about the neighborhood assistance program. So many people aren't aware of that, especially in the small towns. And I'm also a commissioner for the Pennsylvania Historical Museums Commission, and there may be some opportunity there. I don't know if you've applied before, and this may actually apply to a lot of other folks in the room, that there are grant opportunities through that too. Just want to make mention of that. So thanks for being here, and thanks for your testimony.
Sure.
Representative Mirsky?
Thank you. I just wanted to thank you for your testimony today and for your efforts at preservation. I think too often across Pennsylvania and actually across America, we're losing these buildings through disrepair, disinvestment, and then in the bigger cities, we're losing them to tearing it down and building a high rise, or and so to restore this Red Bank building here, the Valley History Center, I think it is a worthy project. And if I'm looking at your budget correctly, total project cost $356,000.
That's correct.
Okay.
It's to finish the project after the 2 years.
And I love the story about, and it's a comment, not a question. I love the story about restoring the clock, and the kids being able to look at it, and then
Right.
again,
You had to be home at 5 o'clock, so you
no
always
doubt.
look up at that.
It sounds familiar. So those types of things, though, that's where from my comments at the beginning, connecting the past to the future, I think, and you're doing it. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So our next testifier will be Albert Burrick from Venango Township. Whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, members of the America250PA Transportation Improvement Committee. What I'm here to talk about today is the Declan's Dream Playground and Infrastructure Project. It's more than just a neighborhood park. The Declan's Dream Project is an economic development, road construction, and inclusive playground wrapped all in one. Lawrence County was where Venango Township is located. Has been one of the counties in western Pennsylvania which has stumbled in growth over the last 30 years. Everyone that lives here knows that. This project aids in the redevelopment of a 1960s era shopping plaza into the rebranded Venango Commons. Since the 1990s, this 300,000 square foot shopping plaza has seen vacancy rates soar into the 90% range. Beginning in 2023, January actually, the Township Board of Supervisors and the Lawrence County Commissioners and Venango Township Economic Development Corporation have been working in conjunction on a redevelopment plan for the 27-acre parcel. The adjacent 40-acre township-owned park parcel is also involved. In March 2023, the Township Supervisors negotiated the sale of 200,000 square feet of empty retail space in this plaza to a local developer. In addition to that, we also negotiated the sale of a former PNC Bank branch to a local Italian restaurant and an empty 1.5 acre pad site to another local developer who's going to build a franchise fast casual restaurant there. Venango Township and Lawrence County have already committed $1.5 million towards this project. It's a combination of ARPA funds and general fund monies. There's currently several large national retailers looking at the property, and the potential for job growth is excellent. By the end of this month, we will already have 9 new jobs created in the Venango Commons, and there will be we have the potential, as announced yesterday in the Newcastle News, for up to 500 off-site jobs that will also be created through the offices that are moving there later this month. Another phase of this project is the construction of a boulevard that will connect PA Route 65 to Old Pittsburgh Road. Town Center Drive is the name of the road. The road will pass through Venango Commons, creating new road frontage for 300,000 square feet of currently empty retail space. It'll be a tree-lined drive. It'll become the focal point for civic activities in the township and for the east and south side of Newcastle as well. We anticipate holiday parades, farmers markets, 4th of July fireworks. We are the fireworks capital of America. We have to have fireworks. The roadway will include a multimodal bus lane for Newcastle Transit Authority, which already currently serves the property. It will include bike lanes that will lead into the park, and the project will also include new stormwater facilities, curb green space, and it will eliminate the sea of asphalt that's currently in place there. The crown jewel of this project is the 19,000 square foot inclusive playground, Declan's Dream. Declan's Dream Playground is to be constructed along Town Center Drive on the Venango Township Park property. This regional attraction for families throughout Lawrence County and beyond is based on the mission to provide an inclusive play experiences that enables people of all ages and abilities, while children will have the ability to interact and understand each other in new ways. In the future, we envision classes, sporting events, social occasions, where all people can come together and enjoy the community. Declan is a 4-year-old girl who resides in Lawrence County. At birth, Declan was diagnosed with secondary microphthalmia due to an underdeveloped brain and a partial complex epilepsy. Her brain abnormalities leave her severely globally delayed. Declan currently attends the Western Pennsylvania School for Blind Children, where she receives various therapies throughout the week. This project is a collaboration of Venango Township, Newcastle Area School District, Elwood City Area School District, Venango Area School District, and Laurel Area School District, filling a need in the community and the region for inclusive play. Interaction in inclusive play settings is essential for children with disabilities who may be at risk for isolation and bullying. Included in this project will be the construction of the playground, picnic pavilions, family accessible restrooms, and a 75-car parking lot. The total value is $3.8 million for this project. Thank you for your consideration. This project has the potential to make not only an economic impact on the financially distressed area, but on the lives of children as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the panel? Representative Oberlander.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony.
Absolutely.
What a beautiful park, and what a great thing to add to your community. I do have a question, though, on the job creation. You said up to 500 new jobs.
Yes.
But in the first month, up to 40 off-site. Can you elaborate on what that means a little bit?
Sure. So we have an office that's coming into the community. They are a home health care office. So people don't actually work on site.
Okay.
So it's actually a Philadelphia-based company. They are actually opening on Monday of next week. So they are creating 9 on-site jobs, and they actually have the potential over the next 3 years to create 500 off-site jobs where they would still report to that office from time to time, but they would also be going to people's homes to provide health care.
Oh, excellent. So 500 does not include the construction.
No, that is just
You need to start
one
adding
site.
those numbers in. Okay.
Just that one site, yes.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And to actually echo Representative Oberlander's comments, thank you for your advocacy specifically on the playground as well. Much like Representative Mirsky, my background is in local government. I was a local mayor, and I actually had the honor of cutting a ribbon on an inclusive and fully ADA accessible playground. And when those constituents came and said they had multiple children, of whom one was differently abled and not able to play with their siblings when they were able to have them all there, it truly means a lot to families. So thank you again for your advocacy.
Absolutely.
Representative Mirsky?
Thank you. This is a ambitious project, but I think it's a worthwhile project. And if I'm reading this correctly, you have $1.5 million already.
So we've
Committed?
we've committed 1.5 million to the project already,
Okay.
yes.
And you're looking, so out of that
It's-
2.8 million, would that be extra, 2.8 extra, or 2.8
So it would
minus
be-
the 1.5?
It would be minus 1.5.
Okay. And I said that like I was 8 years old, and I apologize. But, okay, so that's not inclusive of the 1.5 million that's already been
That's correct.
committed. And then I love again, reusing old space. I think that's a wise use of property, and instead of building new, taking what we have and making it better. So I wish you the best, and thank you for your contribution here today.
Thank you.
Representative Wentling?
Sure. I hope you've drawn some inspiration from what's happened up in Marty Park, up in Wilmington Township. So got a little bit of a similar project there that I was really happy to be a part of when I represented that area with Senator Vogel. So it's great what the Kennedys have done at the Marty Park. So thanks so much for your presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next testifiers are Commissioners Ted Theron and Rick Rossi from the Clarion County Board of Commissioners.
First, I'd like to thank America250 and the Infrastructure Improvements Committee for allowing us to testify today. I'm Ted Theron, Chairman of the County Commissioners of Clarion County. With me is Rick Rossi from Delta Development. They write grants for the county. The celebration is very special to me, for I had two ancestors at Valley Forge with George Washington during the Revolution. Clarion County Board of Commissioners are responsible for the management and essential operations of government. My colleagues and I have been actively involved in the planning and execution of educational programming and events to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States. On May 23rd, 2023, the Clarion County Board of Commissioners passed a resolution declaring our official support of the Pennsylvania Commission for the United States, Semiquincentennial. We plan to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States with a variety of events, including parades, picnics, fireworks, reenactments, including the American Revolution and the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Other performances also. We also intend to integrate Western Pennsylvania's contribution to the founding of the United States into the program. I am testifying this afternoon to discuss the Project 250 Regional Amphitheater, a project designed to bring history to life through education and celebration throughout Western Pennsylvania and abroad, the America250 reenactments and performances. Currently, Clarion County does not have a publicly accessible performing arts space large enough to hold such a program. Once funded, the 1,000 to 2,000 person amphitheater will be located at the Clarion County Park, a 48-acre public park located 1.8 miles off of Interstate 80 The location and capacity of the amphitheater will make it a regional attraction that can accommodate a variety of reenactments, performances to celebrate the United States' rich history, as well as the vital role of Western Pennsylvania's people and places played in the fight for the nation's independence. A variety of regional groups will be invited to use the amphitheater for reenactments and performances, including Company C, 2nd Regiment, United States Sharpshooters, Penn West Clarion Department of Visual and Performing Arts, Clarion Community Theater, Knox Community Theater, and other performing arts groups from a multi-county whoops, wrong page, sorry. Can't get three apart. There's three, thanks, Rick. Region. Upon completion, the Project 250 Regional Amphitheater will be a regional destination facility that allows Western Pennsylvania to actively participate in the America 250 celebration. Celebrations throughout the engaging educational and celebratory experience. Development of the Project 250 Regional Amphitheater will result in an increased number of day visits and overnight stays within Clarion County and Western Pennsylvania as a whole. By creating a performing arts venue of this nature, facility patrons will spend money within the region's hotels, dining venues, retail stores, fueling and charging stations, and on other recreational activities. According to a recent report commissioned by DCED on the economic impact of travel and tourism in Pennsylvania, in 2021, travel and tourism within Clarion County generated $110 million in consumer spending, thereby supporting 1,095 jobs in our county. The recently published Clarion County Analysis of Tourism and Promotional Opportunities found that we in Clarion County should strive to improve or create assets that allow us to attract tourism spending more effectively. That note that the amphitheater is a tourism amenity that Clarion County does not currently have, but would fulfill a need to fill a gap in the market. The amphitheater will allow us to leverage our location on Interstate 80 to entice more travelers and tourism to experience the Clarion County rather than simply pass through it. Western Pennsylvania's people and places have provided countless contributions to this nation's founding and subsequent history. We do not, however, have a publicly accessible performing arts venue to effectively tell our story in celebration of America 250. Therefore, we are asking the Infrastructure Improvements Committee for a favorable consideration for a request $1.854 million for the funding of the project. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the panel? Representative Mirsky.
First up, Mr. Theron, I want to thank you for your service to your local government as a county commissioner. It's hard to put yourself out there nowadays, and so thank you for your service. This project, in terms of the funding, do you have the 1.8 million? Is there any local match, or are you asking for the full amount?
We do not currently have local match.
Okay.
We would be requesting the full amount. We just did a all-inclusive playground at the park that they're currently constructing right now, so it sort of ate up our match pretty good.
And then please forgive me, I'm not familiar. Is the park in your downtown area, or is it?
It is off the next exit, the Shippenville exit.
Yep.
And in the park, there are baseball fields, soccer fields, all lit at night. We have a riding arena.
It's well used. It's a community asset.
There are hundreds of people every day there.
And this would just amplify that as
Yes,
a
it
regional
would.
asset for your community. Okay, thank you.
Representative Oberlander.
This is just a tag on to what Representative Mirsky just asked. So you're asking for the 1.8. If you were not provided the 1.8, are there phases of the project, or are there ways for you to go ahead with the project if you weren't given the full funding?
Yes, there would be, because we have added in another set of publicly accessible ADA restrooms, which we currently have ADA restrooms that we just constructed 2 years ago. So we have that available that we wouldn't need to actually do the concession, but we were just trying to do everything that would make it a first-class place for people to go.
Thank you. Representative Wentling.
Well, you opened a door that I have to walk through here. So, and I might have mentioned this earlier when we were talking earlier, that my family came from Wetlands Corners. So it was Wendling,
That's
not
where I
Wetling.
live.
So you're from Wetlands Corners. We might be related. But yeah, because you mentioned the American Revolution. Obviously, that's why we're here. And my ancestor, Sebastian Wendling, came to this area. I believe it was his son, his eldest son, that came here to settle in that area, following the revolution. So, yeah, so there's certainly a strong connection to, now it wasn't a war grant, it wasn't a grant. That wasn't in the Clarion County from what I understand, but certainly a connection to the revolution out this way.
It's amazing to find out that you had ancestors there. And mine went through the Craigs and to the hills to the Cribbses. And the Cribbses are the relatives that were here in 1812.
And the reason why I do bring that up is because of Sebastian, I was able to become a member of the Sons of the American Revolution, and I hope that you have an opportunity to work with them, work with the Daughters of the American Revolution for your celebration here in Clarion County. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next testifier is Michelle Bogacki. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. From Ridgeway Heritage Council.
You got it.
That sounded right to me. I'm Polish.
Whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much. I guess listening to the other testimonies, my project is small, but to us it's very large. I represent the Ridgeway Heritage Council, but I wear a multitude of hats. I am Ridgeway Township Secretary. I work side-by-side economic development with the Ridgeway Borough, so I am speaking on behalf of Ridgeway at large. The Ridgeway Heritage Council is a 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization, and they are very instrumental in our facade program, our flower program, our flag program, and also our streetscape that has been very successful. We had a Main Street manager, myself, that unfortunately was not able to be successfully funded after 10 years, but I continue to wear that role as a volunteer. The nonprofit, the Heritage Council, I support 100% with all of their programs, as I mentioned. We have been the finders of the designation of the National Historic Registered District, the Lily of the Valley of Ridgeway. We carry a wealth of history through the Hyde-Murphy Company, which is nationally known in several cities, like the Smithsonian, the Capitol, and so forth. You would see that Hyde-Murphy. The Heritage Council has just published a book for the Hyde-Murphy woodwork and design, and we're working on the interior design as a second edition. Ridgeway is the hub of the PA Wilds, a trail town, a capital for the chainsaw carving rendezvous, the gateway community to the Allegheny National Forest, and we also have the wild and scenic Clarion River, which has been announced River of the Year twice. We see volumes of tourism and visitors coming off of Route 219, both north and south. The Ridgeway begins to celebrate their 200th anniversary as we were founded in 1824 by a Quaker named Jacob Ridgeway from Philadelphia. Jacob had come to look and utilize the Penn's Woods, again, the lumber heritage. That is what the Heritage Council represents, the heritage of Pennsylvania, and also we represent the downtown, home, quaint, Main Street streetscape of the United States. We, the Heritage Council, are guiding leaders behind that streetscape, which we, again, have the benches, the ornamental lights. We just hung the hometown hero banners. The thing that's missing is the rehabilitation to our sidewalks. As small towns, again, founded in 200 years ago, we've had those streetscapes moved on, but the sidewalks are in great need. When we did our streetscape, we put brick layers to utilize the underground ornamental lighting, and they were not installed properly, and they're shifting. And it's causing an infrastructure need to either be replaced or repaired as well as cleaned and so forth. We, the Heritage Council, are a volunteer, and every year annually, we manually sweep and scrape all the moss and the anti-skid off of that. We're trying to raise the funds quickly so that we can have it ready for our 200th year celebration next year. But the funds, as we know, in supply and demand, it's $12.50 a square foot to replace and repair, clean, add grit, and support those places that are a trip hazard and so forth. With the borough of Ridgeway of 4,000, we can't put the burden solely on the borough. They do not have the funds to do that. Without the Heritage Council's support, which we have been behind them 100%, as I said, with the Main Street program, a successful facade program that has seen over $800,000 invested to our downtown. We have a very quaint atmosphere with the courthouse lawn setting as the county seat of Elk. And I think with the brick work being done, it adds to that legacy of what our cobble streets, brick streets would look like. So I'm asking that you support wholly that funds so that we can get on this project quickly. And also, we would like to carry the hat, we would like to become a member of the American250 as an affiliate, as a nonprofit. And with the 2026 Semiquincentennial, we would be interested in purchasing or acquiring one of your Liberty Bells for our courthouse lawn setting.
Thank you so much. Questions or comments from the panel? Representative Mirsky.
I had a question. Is your Main Street, do you know if it's a state road or is it a local road? Or
It is state, it's
It's a
PennDOT.
state road? You know, one of the, I'm not trying to tell you where to go for money, but one of the things you might want to look at is either a multimodal grant or either through PennDOT or through DCED to assist with this if you're looking through your state rep.
Yep,
So,
thank you.
But this is, yeah, I love your passion, and I saw the pictures. We had the pages mixed up, but this is phenomenal. I mean, the woodworking in this building.
Yep, we have a lot of, like I said, the legacy with the heritage and of
Yes.
the wood.
And it's a worthwhile project when you clean up those downtown areas and make them attractive. It just draws people in.
Absolutely.
So thank you for your efforts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the Curtsy Watson Manor when I'm looking at this, Bob. It might be that same era and same architect. Thanks.
Thank you so much for your work, and thank you for your testimony.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Our next testifiers are Pamela Higham and Josh Sheritz from the Crawford County Historical Society. And I apologize if I mispronounced that.
I get it all the time. Don't worry about it. Good afternoon, and a warm thank you and appreciation for inviting us to testify today. My name is Pam Higham. I'm a president of the Board of Directors of the Crawford County Historical Society in Meadville, Pennsylvania. We are a nonprofit organization with a mission to uncover and protect our shared past in an effort to enrich our future. The Historical Society was founded in 1880 and was established to ensure future generations to learn from future generations learn from, are inspired by, and enjoy our rich history, which includes muckraker Ida Tarbell, the creation of the direct primary system of elections, the discovery of oil, the invention of the zipper, and even John Heisman of Heisman Trophy inspiration, and Ray Haroon, first winner of the Indianapolis 500. The Historical Society operates both an archival facility as well as museums, the most important of which is the former home of United States Supreme Court Justice Henry Baldwin. Within the last decade, the Society has taken on a new role within the area we serve, that of historic preservationists and community developers. Our Executive Director, Josh Sheritz, will now give detail to the project that has been submitted for consideration.
Good afternoon, and thank you for inviting us today. I'm Josh Sheritz, Executive Director of the Historical Society of Crawford County in Meadville, Pennsylvania. In 2021, the Historical Society, as part of our mission and vision of preserving local history, acquired the White Heidi Coper House, also known as Holland Hall on Terrace Street in Meadville. In 1807, James White erected the first brick home in Crawford County and operated a tannery on the side lawn. That property is significant as it's one of the few in northwestern Pennsylvania with definite connections to slavery. Many of us think of slavery as something that happens towards southeastern Pennsylvania and south Mason-Dixon and below, and that's very much not the case. The story, and even more so, over 200 years later, is one of the few properties in northwestern Pennsylvania still standing with those connections. The story of slavery and the story of a people otherwise forgotten is a major part of our history that until recently hadn't been remembered even at that location. The house was acquired in 1869 and massively expanded 30 years later in 1899 by the Heidi Coper family of Holland Land Company fame, and served as the home of Arthur Clark and Frances Reynolds Heidi Coper, who had one of the largest horse ranches in U.S. history. Heidi Coper was involved with Theodore Roosevelt in ranching, helped Andrew Carnegie negotiate railroad rights, and was a household name at that time. After their deaths, the house became headquarters to the Phi Delta Theta fraternity of Allegheny College, which is the 32nd oldest college in the United States, and home to thousands of students who represented Meadville and Pennsylvania over the last 90 years. Our rehabilitation of the property and its conversion into a hotel and restaurant facility means a great deal to not just the Historical Society, but the community at large. The property was recently considered to be on the brink of whether it would be too far gone, and is both an awe-inspiring landmark and a blighted eyesore. And so, that said, it sat empty for 30 years, and in 2021 we acquired the property next door to the Baldwin Reynolds House Museum, as Pam mentioned, and began working with Allegheny College representatives, local redevelopment authority representatives, city and county government officials, our state elected officials, et cetera, to see what the best need for the area was. We had a museum next door. What could we use this property for to preserve its past and also make it useful for the future for northwestern Pennsylvania? The need became quickly apparent. Due to COVID, several restaurants were unable to reopen. And while no local hotels were lost due to COVID-19, a January 2020 hotel study identified an over 200-room deficit in Crawford County alone. This deficit loses the area not just lodging revenue, but overall tourism revenue as tourists move on to other areas that can support overnight stays. That said, the Society has secured the assistance of Design Lab Architects of Boston to ensure we can best preserve the building as well as convert it for use in the future, and has received not just making the request of America250PA, but also has received a state RACP of $500,000, marketing for tourism grant of $50,000, and is well on our way on developing donor contributions through phase 1 of this project. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the panel?
So just,
Representative Mirsky?
thank you, I'm sorry. And just for clarification, so you want to renovate the house and turn it into hotel space, is that?
Correct.
Okay.
The plan for the property is to turn it into a boutique hotel of about 15 rooms, as well as first floor restaurant space, and potentially in a much later phase down the road, even a secondary restaurant in the basement level.
Would that be administered by you or through a third party, or?
Our goal is to rehabilitate the property and to get it ready for reuse, maintain ownership, and then it would be leased to someone who has those skills, yes. I have no intention on changing sheets and beds for anyone else except my own house.
You never know, I had to ask.
You never, yeah. The Historical Society would like to do what we're good at and work with reliable partners to do what they're good at.
As a point of personal privilege, my wife is a public defender in Crawford County, and the architecture down there and it's a neat place, and this building in particular, it can be brought back to grandeur, and I'm really excited for the possibility of that.
It's a gorgeous facility, and we're excited to help use the community's past to help bring it an even brighter future, and hope to have your help to do so.
Representative Oberlander.
Thank you. The renderings are just gorgeous. Thank you for sharing that. My question is similar to what I had asked of Clarion County Commissioner. If you're not able to get the full amount, are you able to phase the project, and have you thought through that process?
Yes, we worked with an architect to phase out the project, starting with phase one and what were the money that we had put into the budget that we'd submitted with the grant would be primarily exterior rehabilitation, and to get that envelope sealed, and then can work through phase two between grants and additional working with donors to create sort of that warm lit shell, and then create that into the hotel and restaurant space in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that is all as far as testifiers for today. So I just want to ask the panelists for any closing comments, and then we'll just go over our next hearing, and then we'll ask Representative Wentling to dismiss the panel and the committee or the hearing today. So Representative Mercer, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Cassandra. I want to thank all of the people who submitted proposals today and testified here. This was really impressive, and there's a lot of energy in Western Pennsylvania, a lot of good things going on in this region, and this was evidence of that today. So I just want to thank all of you. You make our job hard, because I'd love to fund everything. Unfortunately, we have finite resources, but keep doing what you're doing, and keep pushing ahead, because these are quality projects that are going to make significant impacts in the places that we live and the places we love. So thank you.
Representative Oberlander.
Thank you. I'll echo the sentiments of Representative Mirsky. Thank you for presenting your testimony on such great projects. It really is, excuse me, exciting to hear what you have going on, and we love where we live, and so it's really great to hear what you're doing. And again, thank you so much for being in Clarion County today. I appreciate being part of it. Thank you.
Yes, just want to have an opportunity to thank everyone for being here today, and it's great to hear about all the different projects. And ultimately, if we are able to have funds to fund the different projects, obviously not everyone that was here today would be able to be funded, but I do hope that you'll be able to work to find other opportunities. I'd mentioned the PHMC, and Bob had mentioned a number of different funding sources, and through DCD and PennDOT and whatever it may be. So we'd love to partner with you as elected individuals in any way we can in those areas to help you in that way too. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And just a reminder that our next hearing is actually tomorrow, Friday, June 16th at 1 p.m. at the Andrew Carnegie Library in Allegheny County. And with that, we will ask Representative Wentling to dismiss the hearing.
We're dismissed. Thank you.